There's no country in the world that sentences kids to die in prison except for the United States.
Look at them. Age 12 years old, I joined the neighborhood gang.
Young people who have been exposed to violence.
It just happened that I had a bumper car.
Go back in time.
As a Christian faith, we promote redemption.
I regret it not being.
I was taught that you need fear, you need someone. I believe in my mind that this is all over.
I begin to serve the Lord.
It makes sense to give them another chance at life. You can't just take someone's life away just based on one decision.
And someone has to fight for them.
People often ask me, Brian, how did you get in trouble? How has somebody like you got arrested for murder and attempted murder and sentenced to life in prison at the age of 16 years old? How did that happen?
Someone thought because I was smaller and younger than them that they could beat me up. Things happened and I was left in juvenile hall for 2 years. Lost everything that I worked my entire life for.
When I was on the streets, I would go on suicidal missions into rival gang territory because I didn't care if I died. How could you put fear in my heart? I wanted to die. You'd be doing me a favor to get me off of this earth, to end this pain that I'm going through.
Juvenile Justice Week seeks to help students develop their hearts and grow in their love and concern and dedication to our youth who are incarcerated. We really try to help the students break through the stereotype that these kids in juvenile hall are monsters and really get them to recognize that they are part of our family of God. We want them also to then become active in being part of the solution to the horrible problems in our juvenile justice system.
How was it adapting to society when you got released?
Would you say drugs and alcohol played a huge role in your crime?
How did the gang react when you wanted out?
Were you still gangbanging in prison? Who was the first person you wanted to see as soon as you got out of prison?
Did someone use the gun in your car to kill somebody, or did you actually kill somebody?
My crime partner was the trigger person who shot the person, which leads me to this statement. In California, you do not have to do the crime yourself to be sentenced to life in prison.
The justice system that we have in place is pretty much a crime occurs, we punish them, and that equals justice. Right? Justice has been done. In restorative justice, we focus on the pain that the young people who are accused of the crime are suffering, and obviously the pain that the victims of crime are suffering.
These kids, their entire lives are victims, and the second that they say after 12 years of just being victimized and abused physically, emotionally, sexually, everything, they go and they actually victimize someone else. At that moment, we don't empathize or sympathize with them anymore. We throw them in a prison where nobody sees them. They have no voice. They have nobody caring about them anymore. They have virtually no organizations. So to me, sure, I could go help the kids with cancer who have 5,000 nonprofits working with them and helping their families and them. But to me, the kid who maybe crossed a little bit of a line, but I feel still has a lot of hope in their future, that kind of kid, because they've been abandoned by most of society, that's the kid that's interesting to me.
Juvenile Justice Week at Loyola High School gives students the opportunity to actually experience what it is like to sit in a cell that is the actual size of a juvenile cell in juvenile hall. It allows them to sit in a holding cage where incarcerated youth sit as they're waiting to be taken to court. We give them the opportunity to do journal writing, sitting in the cell, sitting in the holding cage, or sitting out looking at the pictures outside the cell, and write about what they would feel like if they were in that particular situation.
We as a society should always try to bring up the weakest among us. Like, a society is only valued as the weakest within it.
One of the most amazing things is seeing one of my kids at 18 years old, go into an adult prison and get put in a college program. The whole identity starts to change, and you see everything change. Rather than trying to create a negative identity in prison and then when they get out, they're now getting out with a really positive plan.
The gang life was all I ever knew. Nobody else ever put a hand out there to help me. Always that one that everybody just wanted to throw the key away and forget. But someone was there in my life, and someone made me realize that I was more important than what I actually thought I was.
I gave my life to God, and I began to serve the Lord in prison. I began to educate myself. I began to stop hanging around bad people that wanted to smoke weed, and I began to go to church. I began to read my Bible. I began to read the book of Psalms, and slowly but surely, God began to restore my life.
A lot of these youth, like I think it was 80% or more, actually show rehabilitation after like 10 years. So it makes sense to give them another chance at life. You can't just take someone's life away just based on one decision. We are a redemptive society. As a Christian faith, we promote redemption. It's all about, like, we are the fallen humanity and we need to get redeemed in God's eyes. The same thing applies here. Whether they're rightly convicted or not, they need to be redeemed. Everyone deserves a second chance.
I have known Jesus as a real person when I was locked up and I went from darkness to light. I will dedicate the rest of my life of bringing this message to anyone. I am a warrior of life, not death.
Life isn't just black and white where you go and you go to school, you go to college, and then you go off to your career and that's it. There's people that need our help. And I think that's what this week is all about. I think that's why we're all here.
When our students have a chance to interact and share their experiences during and after the week, they really find out and come to a very deep realization that the kids who are incarcerated in juvenile hall are really no different from themselves. They are both children of God, who God loves very much. They really want to be a voice for their voiceless brothers and sisters who are incarcerated.
I've written a bunch of letters, I've made a bunch of calls.
It's kind of made me grateful for all the blessings that I have.
There are many injustices that are being committed every day that we really need to fix.
It's definitely our responsibility to help the voiceless.
There's a duty placed upon me, since I know about these things, to go out and fix them.
Value what you got. Value the blessings that you got. Value your family. Value God. Value freedom. You don't know what you have until you lose it.
We have to show these legislators that there's an absolute huge army of young people, every one of you, who believe in this and can counteract these really hardcore adults that believe that children should be thrown away. If you care about this, come with me to Sacramento and let's go. Let's make it rain.